And all I did was hit the thing a couple of times. Hi, welcome to the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club meeting for April 3rd, 2012. We meet every Tuesday evening. We started at 7:45 and we end at 9:15. You're all welcome, visitors out there, to come and join us, be our guests, in person, live. And we're in the corner of Bean Briggs at the First United Methodist Church. I'd like to go ahead, and we meet in the basement. So if you park in the east parking lot, there's a couple of open doors. There's a new overhead. You'll see it. Come on in, come on downstairs, and you'll hear us. Come on, just follow the happy sounds. I'd like to go ahead and introduce our president of the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club, Mr. Satish.
Good evening all, and welcome once again. We have all our members and guests at home. Wonderful. The mission of every Toastmaster club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication skills and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Now it's time for our Toastmaster to take the podium and introduce the theme of the day and the role players. I welcome our Toastmaster, Jesus Rios.
Go!
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. Welcome to our Toastmasters meeting. I had the privilege of being the Toastmaster tonight, and I'd like to introduce other role players tonight. General Evaluator, Gene Symington.
Craig.
Gene Symington, Craig. Our grammarian, Diane Denbaum, will you please explain your role? Please welcome our grammarian.
Good evening, everyone, viewers at home. Do we have any guests? I think so. The role of the grammarian is to select or define and use the word of the day. So the word of the day today, to go along with the theme of goals, is expedite. It's a verb, and it means to perform quickly. Used in a sentence, please expedite the process of ordering a CC manual, Competent Communicator Manual, for the new Golden Speaker member. Expedite. I'll record the correct and incorrect usage. I will also note all awkward or misuse of words. I'll report any creative language usage I hear, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you. So expedite.
It is my duty to expedite this meeting, and I'd like to go ahead and introduce our timer, Stacy Mauer. Would you please explain your role?
So I'm the timer for this evening. I will be timing all the speeches. Table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light is turned on at 1 minute. The yellow light is turned on at 1 minute 30 seconds. And the red light is turned on at 2 minutes and remains on until the end of the speech. Prepared speeches are usually 5 to 7 minutes, but the icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes. The green light is turned on at 5 minutes. The yellow light is turned on at 6 minutes. And the red light is turned on at 7 minutes and remains on until the end of the speech. Evaluations are 3 minutes. The green light is turned on at 2 minutes. The yellow light is turned on at 2 minutes 30 seconds. The red light is turned on at 3 minutes and remains on until the end of the evaluation. All speakers and evaluators have a 30-second grace period after the red light is turned on. And table topic speakers need to speak for at least 1 minute.
Thanks, Stacy. we have our joke master, which at the end of each meeting, we like to end up with a funny note. And tonight, joke master will be Upendra Sharma. We'll hear from her later. Ballot counters, yes. Ballot counters are June Bandahari and Ron Kerr. Leader counter, then Craig. And we have our president. He will be playing the role of a counter, Satish Sabapati. Will you please explain the role?
Thank you, Toastmaster. As an R counter, I'll be keeping track of the filler words used by every single person who gets a chance to go up there and speak. And filler words would include like but, you know, so, like, and any repeats. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give a report. Thank you.
We're going to start our meeting with the table topics. Will you please welcome our table topics master, Raul Batz.
Yo!
Tonight's theme is goals are dreams with deadlines. I do agree with that. To realize your goal, you need to work within a specified time so that you can see if you qualified in achieving your goal. With this, I'd like to ask for volunteers to come up and speak on a topic. Any volunteer? Any volunteer? Then, please welcome them.
Everybody's got it.
You have the option of choosing from number 1 to 6. 4. Interesting one. It talks about your personal goal. What is your most important personal goal that you would like to see yourself attain this month, this year, and in 10 years from now? In other words, what's your immediate, short-term, and long-term goal?
Yo!
What are your immediate, short-term, and long-term goals that you would like to see attaining in this month, 1 year, and 10 years from now? Thanks.
Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Goals are a difficulty for me.
Ha!
I'm somebody that really needs to learn to set a goal and pin a point in the future and accomplish it. I'm sort of the person that thinks, it'd be really nice to do that, but I don't have to, I'll have that intention. And apparently that doesn't work. Which I could say after 61 years on the planet. I actually thought of a little short-term goal, which might seem kind of trivial, but just to get into the spirit of things. I may have mentioned before that something I like to do is drumming, West African drumming, and I really enjoy it. I'm with a group of people that play very well, and I'm the one that plays least well. But I'm good enough to be in the group. So I've had the thought, I should practice. I should get better. I should apply myself. I'm spending all this time anyway, twice a week we get together, spending all this time anyway. Why not get really good? Why not really go for it? So I'll let you know. But that's my immediate goal. My short-term goal, no, my intermediate goal, I think is to go ahead and complete Competent Leader. I've just got a few more projects. that will help me out because it is all laid out. There's the grid, you do the things, it gets done. So that'll make me feel better. What is my long-term goal? I'm not sure. So I think for step one towards my long-term goal, I'm going to promise to think about it a lot. Come up with a goal, come up with the time, and make it concrete so that I can strive to achieve it. Mr. Thomas.
Once you think of your goal, then you have to think of ways to achieve it. Anybody would like to volunteer himself for the next question? Tom. Welcome, Tom.
You pick one.
I pick one? Yeah, you pick one. All right, I'll pick one for you. Dreams are not, this is number one. Dreams are not those which you see when you sleep. Dreams are something which does not let you sleep. Do you agree? Or do you have something to relate with this quote? Once again.
It's a quote.
Yeah, it's a quote. Dreams are not those which you see when you sleep. Dreams are something which does not let you sleep.
Huh?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. The question that Mr. Table Topics asked has to do with a different version of dreams than most people think of. It's the version of dreams related to goals. In my particular case, I like to classify things a little differently. There are dreams and there are visions. A dream is kind of like one of these melange of horror movies and Discovery Channel and the cooking show and Rena's cookbook show. It's just kind of a lot of stuff, you know, it's like flipping channels in the middle of the night. It's informative, kind of, and it's kind of interesting, but it's not really a lot of content. Meaningful content, it's just stuff. You know, the TV's running and you're kind of half paying attention. Now, visions, on the other hand, very lineal, very informative. There's a story, and the story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a point to the story, and then there's a deeper point to the story. And that deeper point is about the truth of who you are. Now, most of us have some visions. Most of what we have is dreams. But I discovered that if you ask for visions, they just happen to show up. They just happen to lead you to what you really would like to know about who you are, where's the goal, where do you need to be. So it's kind of like, if I'm ready, let me know, give me a vision, see how it works out, tell you what it works out. I've done a number of them. They're really interesting, very insightful, and you're like, wow, this is good stuff. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Who would like to be the next volunteer? Go. Upendrajit, please welcome Upen Sharma.
Yay!
So choose a number. Your options are 2, 3, 5, 6. 3. I love my nation. But when you love your nation, you have a goal, a vision for the nation. What is your vision for your nation? And before that, what country do you consider to be a nation?
Ha!
Mr. Table Topic Master, fellow members, and viewers at home, is a very tough question for me. But I think you will agree, your first love is your true love. And I am in baffle because I am American citizen, but I was born in India and I was Indian citizen. So if you say the love of a nation, I cannot divorce my love to India. This was my first love, and I think it's going to stay with me till my last breath. And what is my vision, dream, aspiration, and commitment to India is in my lifetime, India become an economic power. Not only an economic power which is instrumental of creating war, or which is instrumental of creating terrorism or taking advantage of a smaller country, but if India has to become my vision, it has to first be a spiritual guru. It has to first be on the moral standing. And even though I am talking about is a vision which is very hard to accomplish, because when you don't have anything, you want to get something at any cost. At any cost could be a lot of shortcuts. So there are corruptions, there are delays, there are bureaucracy. I hope and I pray that the country which is my true love, India, will grow spiritually, will grow economically, and will be able to share wealth and peace with the rest of the world. Thank you, Mr. David Toastmaster.
I think we have time for one more. And who is the next volunteer?
Yeah.
John?
No, Cindy.
Cindy?
Does another one.
Please welcome Cindy. Your options, you have 2, 5, and 6.
6.
6? Have you ever had the experience of running short or late on any of your deadline? How did you expedite your task? How did you balance your inner self with your outer self? What did you feel through that experience, and what would you suggest to other people to live a life in a good way when they are running frustrated against the deadline?
Those that know me, fellow Toastmasters and honored and esteemed guests and viewers at home, those that know me probably see this as a perfect question to ask. Before we moved here, my husband was always telling friends and neighbors and people, oh, you know, my wife, she runs on Central Time. Now that we live here, he's telling friends and neighbors, I run on Mountain Time. Usually last minute, always procrastinating, behind schedule, tearing my hair out because I'm a half hour behind where I want to be. This applies to my personal life and at work some of the time, but mostly at home. What to do about it? What advice would I give? Well, to me that's kind of obvious. Don't procrastinate. Be proactive. Learn to look ahead and see, oh, I have this deadline and I must get from A to B, or from A to Z in some cases. And how many steps? Does that take 26 steps or only 2 or 3 steps? And then plan it out. Don't get frustrated when a task looks too huge to accomplish. Break it up in smaller steps. I hear this all the time from my husband. Don't look at the whole in a task. You can see the whole, but don't let the whole frustrate or be too large to handle. Look at the parts. When things are broken into parts, you can do them 10, 15 minutes at a time. And then pretty soon, you're finished. Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. Table Topics.
All right. So for this, I'd like to turn the meeting back to our...
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, before that, do all the speaker qualify?
Yes, they do. So it's
So-
Dan Craig, Tom Trainer, Upendra Sharma, and Cindy Trainer. They all qualified.
So please vote. You have 4 options. And your options are Dan Craig, Tom Trainer, Upendra Sharma, and Cindy Trainer. And welcome back. At this point of time, I'd like to turn the meeting to our table topics evaluator, Mr. Bill Dyer. Kindly welcome him. Mr. Bill Dyer.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. Tonight we had 4 table topic speakers. What I'd like to point out is that each one of our speakers, in different manners, gave us positive ways of doing a speech. Dan Craig, very good greeting. Dan, you came right out front. You had good gestures. You had good vocal variety. You had good use of a pause for your transitions from your early goal to your mid-goal to your later goal. But where he came into a good spot with the speeches, practice. Get better and apply yourself. Does that not apply to every speech that we give?
Ha!
Beautifully done in the table topics. I have no correction for you today. Tom Trainer. Dream keep you while you're asleep or they keep you awake. You had a great greeting. You came right out in front. Big hand gestures. And you changed the dream from dream to vision. And I like that because your vision gave us another vision into speeches. It compares to speeches with the beginning, the middle, the end. How you set it up. And about creating that vision yourself or asking for that vision. That's how you clarify information and set up a speech. The one thing I'd like to say, Tom, give a quick example of one of your visions. Because you really brought me in, and they're like, yeah, and I've had a lot of Upendra, your vision for a nation. You caught me off guard because you've talked about America, you've talked about India, and I didn't know which way you would go with that. Last speech was very patriotic, and I thought, wow, this is going to be interesting. And it took you a second to kind of weave your way back to say, hey, my starting point was India. And then you drew from there. But what you did was, you set up your speech with the question. And then you told us what you wanted to tell us was your vision. You told us about your vision. Then you told us what you told us in your vision. Again, same type of tactic for a good speech. Use a pause. And Cindy. Oh, and Upendra, excuse me, let me back up. I wasn't sure if you did a greeting or not. I didn't catch that because you went into deliberating on India, and I kind of have it down as a question mark, so if anybody knows different, let me know. Otherwise, I don't think you did. Now, Cindy. Cindy is bold and courageous. And I love the color. She's got spring. She's got her badge on crooked. She's got an armband. And comes right out with attitude. This is my spot. Grading, out front, in your face. I love not only your hand gestures, but you gesture with your head. Do this, body still here, hands are here, but there's not a doubt who's being talked to or how. And the earrings even at times do gestures for you. It was pretty cool. You, speeches, stand your ground. Be confident. Don't be afraid. And that's what I saw. Thank you very much.
Now we're coming to the meat and potatoes of our meeting. Prepare speeches. Today we're gonna start with a mass icebreaker. Donald has been a resident of Fairfield for 5 years. I just got the pleasure of meeting him 2-3 weeks ago, and I heard him speak once. It looked like he got some skill already in him. For today, his objectives are to begin feeling even more comfortable speaking before an audience, and to discover the speaking skills that he already has and the ones that he will need some improvement. Please help me welcome Donald. Hang on. Donald Paris, ladies and gentlemen.
I was introduced as Donald Paris. Actually, I want to introduce myself with my spiritual name, Dave to Sing. Now, I use the term Sat Nam to greet the Toastmaster, our members, and folks at home. Sat means truth. Nam means identity. So when I say Sat Nam, I am greeting each and every one of you as the truth of your divine being inside of you. And by doing that, I remember who I am. I remember my own divinity. So, each sound has a vibration. For some reason, I thought we had a microphone at the podium here. Do we used to have a microphone? No.
Ha! Long ago.
This is a tuning fork. Now, if I had a microphone, you could hear the pitch of this tuning fork, which is called concert pitch. This vibrates at 440. It's called A440. It vibrates at 440 vibrations per second. You've heard this pitch. If you've ever heard a symphony orchestra, this is the tune that everyone tunes to before they play a note. A440. Every sound has a vibration. Your name has a vibration. That's why I prefer the name Dave to Sing rather than the name that I was given and have used through life. And there's a reason for that. And I want to give you a personal experience of that reason. So, could everyone, this is A. Can everyone just say A?
A.
Now, we also say A as Ah, right? Does everyone just say Ah?
Ah.
Again, Ah. Ah. Different vibration, right?
Yes.
So every sound has a vibration. And all these vibrations are knowable. This is 440 vibrations per second. This book, Let There Be Light, gives the vibrations of all the tones other than A, and also all the colors. So you can actually heal with colors. There's these Roscoe lean filters that have very specific vibrations that are measurable and knowable through science. Because just like you can measure, put a ruler here and measure the podium 18 inches, you can measure colors, you can measure sounds, and through having your own spiritual name that is your vibration, you can help know yourself and remember who you are. And if anyone wants a spiritual name, through the technology of Kundalini Yoga, it's available for donations at 3ho.org, number 3ho.org. Just looking for my light here. So, I'm going to break down Satnam, just since this is the week of the Passion of the Christ. Sa, infinity. Ta, life. Na, negation. Ma, rebirth, regeneration. And the Ah sound is to come. Now there's many different ways to use this, but since our time is short, and it'll be a benefit to you if you're in traffic or somewhere and you want to just be in touch with yourself. Sa, Jupiter, Earth. Ta, Saturn, Earth. Na, Sun, Earth. Ma, Mercury, Earth. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. These are opposing electrical fields that make your physiology become into balance when you're unbalanced. So if you're ever anywhere, even if you don't say Satyanama, just by touching these opposite fields, you can balance your physiology. Of course, there's a lot more to this, and I hope everyone looks into getting a spiritual name at 3ho.org. It goes into your birth, where you're born, and when you see who you are, you remember. And I believe that's my time tonight, and thank you everyone for listening.
Now we're going to have 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Welcome back. Our next speaker, Upendra Sharma. But first, I'd like to introduce John Armstrong, who will be reading the objectives for Upendra Sharma. Please welcome John Armstrong.
Mr. Rios, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, if we have any viewers at home. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Upendra Sharma once again. I know he's already done a smaller speech this evening. Mr. Sharma is 57 years old, and he's a vegetarian and lacto-vegetarian. He practices vegetarianism due to his compassion for animals, and he comes from a vegetarian family. He believes that a vegetarian diet is good for physical, mental, and spiritual health. Mr. Sharma holds a master's degree in botany, a diploma in education, a master's in business administration, and an associate's degree in nursing. Mr. Sharma will be completing his assignment from the Competent Communicators Manual, project number 9, Persuade with Power. And the title of his speech is Be a Vegetarian. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sharma.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and viewers at home, I truly thank all of you to give me an opportunity to speak about something I truly believe in. So it's a great opportunity to be here and share my belief about vegetarianism. Vegetarianism is a broad term, and is a vegan, they only eat plant-based food. Lacto-vegetarian can also put dairy and plant-based food. And you have ovo-lacto-vegetarian who can also eat egg along with milk, dairy products, and plant-based food. American Dietetic Association has approved that vegetarian diet can meet all nutrient needs. Why do people become vegetarian? There are various reasons. I will just mention a few of them. One is a moral reason. Moral reason is to killing an animal is an act of violence. Violence begets violence. What goes around comes around. Also, vegetarian diet is an act of compassion towards animals. Second reason why people adopt vegetarianism is because of economic reasons. According to Cornell University research, they find out that it takes only 0.44 acre per person per year to grow plant-based food. But it takes 2.47 acre per person per year to grow animal-based food. We have to also consider resources it uses to process, package, and distribute food. So it costs lots more resources to make animal-based food than vegetarian food. Vegetarian food have a lesser negative impact on the environment. Third reason why people adopt vegetarian food is health reason. High animal fat is associated with higher cholesterol level, higher blood pressure level, higher trans-ischemia attack, high obesity, which can lead to diabetes type 2, arthritis. Also, when we are having a high protein content in our diet, we are creating a metabolic load on our liver and on our kidneys, very vital organs for our body. Vegetarian food, on the other hand, people who practice vegetarian food have a lower BMI index, according to the research. They also have a higher longevity and a fairly lower economic cost to maintain healthcare cost. They get sicker lesser. They have found recently, I read it in Ottawa Courier just 2 weeks before, that the soy protein can lower your blood pressure. It also has anti-carcinogenic properties. So just by practicing a vegetarian diet, we can feel healthier at a lower cost. And I will not go to why it is good for mental and why it is good for spiritual reason. But do we have any vegetarian in our audience? Rahul, please keep your hands up. I will ask one question to each one of you, if you give me permission. What is your degree, sir?
My degree is Master in Science and Computer Science.
Okay, Mr. Luis?
Master's in accounting and law degree.
Satish?
PhD in biotechnology.
So the people who are sitting here, which makes about 20% of our population, can say that, but just being a vegetarian, you can attain up to the master degree. But the history is full of examples of geniuses. Aristotle, Plato, Martina Navratilota, Mahatma Gandhi, who practiced vegetarianism and attain any height. I will not go into the spiritual things because we have three kinds of food, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Tamasic can make you lazy, rajasic can make you very agitated, very active, even it can cause you insomnia. But when you sattvic food, your mind is more centered, more calm, and then you can actually feel the God inside you and others, and you start to treat everything with respect. So, but point of caution, we'll take a break, pause now. Diet, please be careful what I'm going to say. Diet cannot replace exercise, your rest and moderation in amount. It is those things will still apply. Keep your exercise, keep moderation in amount, no matter what you diet to take. Tonight, what I want to ask you and appeal to you, do not become an overnight vegetarian. I'm passing you a card, and the only thing I'm appealing those who do not practice vegetarian, identify 1 day a week or 2 days a week where you will eat only vegetarian food. Please write your name and say 1 day, 2 days, and pass it to me at the end of this speech. Those who are listening to me on the TV, you can just do it and put it on your fridge. And see whether, how do you feel by eating vegetarian food? Mr. Table Topic Master.
Take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Now, please help me invite Louis Demba to read the objectives for Bert Chudnovsky.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, club members, and viewers at home. Bert Chudnovsky was invited to the exclusive TEDx Summit in Doha, Qatar. About 800 TEDx organizers of independent TED events are going to gather for a week of not only TED Talks, but networking, workshops, fishing, dune bashing, and scuba diving. TED was also invited to audition for the TED 2013 event, and he is going to offer there a 2-minute talk about why Fairfield, Iowa should share in the 2012 TED Prize, City 2.0. Tonight, Bert is working on speech number 8 from the Competent Communicator Manual. Here is his assignment. This project focuses on visual aids. He is to select a speech subject that allows him to use 2 or more visual aids. Select visual aids that are appropriate to your message and the audience. Display the visual aids correctly, with ease, and with confidence. Please help me welcome Bert Chudnovsky.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. My speech tonight is called 2 Cups of Coffee. Any coffee drinkers here? Good. And it's really about the power of X. Okay? As Louis mentioned, I was invited to the TEDx Summit. Got an email about a month or so ago, and I thought, what the heck is this? I'd never heard of the TEDx Summit, but then I quickly realized what it was. This is an exclusive networking event that encompasses the whole world. About 800 people come and gather in one place. And I was excited about this particular event because it was in one of the most modern, most incredible cities of the world, Doha, which I didn't really know anything about, had never been to. And here's one of the pictures of Doha. And I thought, if I'm going to the Middle East, something occurred to me, I could do a stopover in Italy for a week. And I thought, this is an easy decision to make. And when I was invited to present for an audition of TED 2013 and to present Fairfield as a potential recipient of the TED 2012 prize, I got real excited. I got so excited that I came up with this idea of 2 cups of coffee. 2 cups of coffee refers to the Doha etiquette of drinking. Coffee, served in little cups, and it is thought that if you're going to have coffee with someone, 1 cup is not enough. 3 cups or more is probably too much. It's really, the etiquette is 2 cups of coffee that you can develop a relationship. I'm familiar with 3 cups of tea. Anybody read this book? Greg Mortensen, one of my favorite books. 3 cups of tea is basically the same concept in Pakistan. So I thought about this. I'm going, I've got this idea to knock the socks off of the TEDx Summit and do something that I do best, and that's what I call asset quilting. I came up with this idea on Saturday. Within 72 hours, I had over 70 collaborators to make a movie about the power of X. Telling this, have people tell the stories and use this incredible backdrop of the desert, this incredible harbor, this incredible city, incredible venues, art museums or whatever, to really get the story of parts of all over the world of what transformation has occurred in different people's lives. What I'm going to do now is a speech within a speech. I'm going to give you that 2-minute talk that I've prepared to present Fairfield for the TED Prize, beginning now. Fairfield is the future. It is really the representative role model of the City 2.0. Michael Schumann, who I've quoted here before, has said, imagine every city of 5,000 or 10,000 people nurturing the entrepreneurial class like Fairfield does. It's pretty powerful. What we have is an intersection of sustainability, entrepreneurship, creativity, and spirituality. Isn't that what every city wants? We're also inclusive, residents from over 80 countries. We've been innovative in this community for 162 years. Some of the great achievements, this is the prototype library for the Carnegie Library System that transformed the world in terms of education. We've attracted almost $300 million in terms of investment capital to build hundreds of new businesses and create 4,000 new jobs. That has created an opportunity for 2,000 people to commute to Fairfield every day from other counties just to work because we have more jobs than people. We're also the venue for really the best modern technology and the most ancient technology, ranging to high-speed internet to really Vedic architecture and medicine and science. And what would we do with the Fairfield 2.0 prize is really expand our Fairfield Free University, really create a learning community that could be accessed not only from people here in Fairfield, but people all over the world. And if you go to the Fairfield Free University website, you know what's on there? Toastmasters. Why? There's a membership fee, but you don't get credit, but it's a real powerful thing. The other thing that we would do is really enhance the next generation of entrepreneurs, especially in food-related businesses, to really restructure how we get our food to market. coming soon is this new movie that I called Two Cups of Coffee. And I've got a couple of companion films along with it. A Piece of Pie and a la mode, because I'm going to stop in Italy and do a little movie about the origination of gelato. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yo!
Please, let's take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Now let's find out with our master timer if all the speakers qualified, and can you please read their names?
Yes, all the speakers qualified: Donald Perez, Upender Sharma, and Bert Chanowski.
Let's take 1 minute to evaluate, to vote for the best speaker. Now I'd like to invite our general evaluator with a B. Please help me welcome Jim Symington.
Yay, Craig!
All right, now we're going to find out a little bit how well we did and some things that we might want to do to improve ourselves for future, which is always the exciting part, the evaluation section. So first I would like to invite Jesus Rios back up to evaluate Donald Paris.
Donald Paris, spiritual name, Dave to Sing. One thing that I like about you speak is your confidence. Obviously you feel comfortable standing in front of a group and speaking. Your speech was well prepared. You came out with some props, and as a matter of fact, I think that you jumped the gun and went to the third speech. Normally that's when you start building up into bringing props. The icebreaker usually is when you get to introduce yourself to the group and give us some of your who Donald is. I'm going to go by the list of the competent communication. What were the strong points of the speaker? I think that was the confidence. You really, again, I repeated myself, I think you feel really comfortable. How well did the audience got to know the speaker? I think that it could have been better. I think that your speech was most about your beliefs than about yourself as a person. Did the speaker talk clearly and audibly? I believe you did pretty good. I think we all here, everybody here in the back,
Yes.
it was really good. Did the speech have a definite opening, body, and conclusion? I think you can structure your speech using those guidelines a little more. Did the speaker use notes? No, he was well prepared. He don't have requirement for use of notes. I think it was educational speech. I really enjoy the knowledge that you share with us. So my recommendation to you will be, Ronald, that when you do your speech, allow yourself, give yourself more freedom to move, use the space. And the purpose of it is to grab people's attention. When you're speaking, you want to make sure that you grab them and don't let them go. And you do that by making eye contact, body gestures, different tone of voice. Sometimes talking slow, it really grabs people's attention. Or you can just be exaggerated and just raise your voice and still keep your audience in the edge. keep them magnetized to you. That will be my recommendation to you, Ronald, to maybe give yourself the freedom to move in the space, use the space, the stage. That's what I have for you, Don.
Our next evaluator, John Armstrong, evaluating Bhupendra Sharma.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and especially Bhupendra. I will be using the manual for this evaluation, and I'd like to just begin with the top, especially because this first point I thought was a particularly strong one for Bhupendra. Did the speaker project sincerity and conviction? Very much so. From the very beginning of the speech, you started off by saying that this was something that was very important to you personally, and then from there you went into the reasons why it could be beneficial or useful or somehow important to the rest of us in the room. So beginning with that importance to you, it was a very strong beginning, and that sincerity brought me in, and I believe brought the rest of the audience in, and brought their interest toward you and your speech. Was the speaker a credible source of information about this topic? Absolutely, very much so. When I read your little resume at the beginning, I was frankly shocked at how much background you have and how much education you have, and that was verified and validated by the content of your speech as well. So a lot of scientific knowledge and a lot of specifics, even numbers about different acreage for a vegetarian diet versus a meat-based diet. Very good on that point. Did the speaker phrase his or her appeal in terms of the audience's self-interest? Again, similar to the first point, yes. By establishing your own interest in it, your own sincerity on that point, that established a good basis for the rest of us and drew us in as well. Again, did the speaker use facts and logical reasoning to support his views? Excellent. Did the speaker properly use emotion to persuade the audience to support his or her views? Yes, although this would be one point where I thought, in terms of the evaluation for the speech, I would say that could have been developed more. Particularly because of the content of the speech, because it's about vegetarianism, and you mentioned that you used the phrase violence begets more violence. I thought that was a great start and could have led into more of an emotional appeal. Personally, in terms of listening to a speech of that nature, I appreciate the scientific and factual and well laid out things that you did present. However, in terms of the assessment and what we have in terms of the sort of assignment for this speech, I would say that could have been improved somewhat. Was the speech organization effective? Yes, again, very good introduction, very good body with all these facts and different appeals. There are two minor things that I would mention about this point of organization. One was that you mentioned these terms Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And of course we're a unique audience, perhaps largely unique audience, but even so, even with an audience that we may have here, I would say if you're going to mention those topics, go into a bit more detail. So establishing what they are and why you bring them up and how they are relevant to that speech and to your topic. Similarly, or in addition, in terms of organization, I thought your conclusion was very effective. Was very effective in that, again, it drew us in personally. But the one thing I would have liked to see a little bit more of would have been recap of the things that you mentioned previously. So a great conclusion in terms of making it personal for all of us. Just could have added some reminder of what you had already mentioned. Overall, excellent speech. I really enjoyed it, and thank you.
Sometimes when that red light is on, you can just go
What, did the other ones go on?
Just stop.
That would have been telling.
I'm done. Our final evaluator is Louis Denbaum, evaluating Bert Janowski.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, club members, viewers at home, and especially Bert. Where are you, Bert?
There he is.
There you are. So Bert's speech is to get comfortable with visual aids. And I'll use some of the manual and I'll use some of my own notes to do this. Bert, I think we all agree, is a very comfortable speaker in general. He came out in front, he welcomed us, he just has this commanding presence. He radiates confidence. And he's very comfortable with visual aids, using the projector, projecting them on the screen and referring to them. He began his speech with a question to us. Any coffee drinkers here? Well, gets us involved, piques our interest about what he's going to speak about. Some of the questions from the manual I'd like to address. Did the speaker use the visual aids smoothly and with confidence? Yes. How clear was the speaker's purpose? Now I have to say that evaluating is tough for me because when I get involved in a really interesting speech, I sometimes have to not evaluate. I was a little confused about the speech within the speech. So I would have liked to have seen Bert tell us exactly what he was going to talk about, and then tell us, and then conclude. Especially when we have a speech within a speech, it was a little complicated for me to follow that speech within the speech. Did the speaker use body language to reinforce his message? Absolutely. He's right out here, he's using his hands, he had great eye contact, good volume, very easy to understand him. Using visual aids, one of the things that Bert could improve upon is the position he was standing in when he was doing the speech. At some point, most of the time he was right here, which blocked the view of the people here from the screen. So I'd like to see Bert reposition himself so that people from all parts of the room can actually see the screen. Also with the visual aids, they were all clear. However, on one or two of them, there was too much detail. I didn't really understand the speech, the one with the 70 collaborators. There was just too much detail. So I think another suggestion would be on the visual aid of Fairfield, instead of having the bullet point of the 4 different things that are important, the library, the entrepreneurial, I would like to see a visual aid for each one where you click. Show us a big picture of the library, 162 years of technology. Then show us the next one for entrepreneurs. I think a bigger one where it's very easy for us to see would be more exciting than one screen with bullet points that are a little bit harder to read. In conclusion, I want to say this was a great topic for Bert. He's enthusiastic about Fairfield. He's enthusiastic about going to the conference, and that really came through in his speech. Madam General Evaluator.
Yo!
Say I lost the agenda, but I'm writing on the back of it. Very good, so it's time for us to hear our reports now. Oh, first, before we do that, let's just see how we did with the evaluators. We had 4 evaluators. Did they all qualify, Stacy?
Yes, they did.
Okay, could you give us the names?
Jesus Rios, John Armstrong, and Louis Denbaum.
And who was the table topics?
Oh, and Bill Dyer.
So let's hear those again. Bill Dyer.
Bill Dyer, Jesus Rios, John Armstrong, and Louis Denbaum.
And they all qualify.
They all qualified.
Now, have our reports for the evening. First, I'd like to hear from our timer, Stacy. Clap.
For table topics, Dan Craig, 2 minutes 30 seconds. Tom Trainer, 2 minutes 9 seconds. Bhupendra Sharma, 1 minute 49 seconds. Cindy Trainer, 2 minutes 13 seconds. For the prepared speeches, Donald Paris, 5 minutes 59 seconds. Bhupendra Sharma, 6 minutes 56 seconds. Bert Chanowski, I got confused on the two, but I think it was around, it wasn't more than 7, anyway. For table topics, Bill Dyer, I think he was way over, actually, now that I think about it. You know, I've had a really hard time tonight. I've been gone a long time. And I got really wrapped up in what everybody was saying. Anyway, for the speech evaluators, I did much better. I was on it. Jesus had 3 minutes, 25 seconds. John Armstrong, 3 minutes, 28 seconds. And Louis Denbaum, 3 minutes, 19 seconds.
Great, thank you very much. Honesty and timing. Now I'd like to hear from our odd counter, Satish Sabapati.
So I have here, Dan, 1 but, 2 you knows, and 1 so and a repeat. Tom, 1 so. Upendra, 1 3 so's, and 2 ands. Cindy, 1 repeat. Bill, 3 ums, and 1 and a repeat. Donald, 4 ums, 4 so's, 6 ands, and 1 repeat. John, 1 2 so's, 3 ands, and 5 repeats. Bert, 1 and. Louis, 1 and 4 so's. Stacy, 3 ums. Jesus, 4 repeats. That's what I have now. Thank you.
Now our report from our grammarian, Diane Denbaum.
Right, thank you. Quick report, 2 people used expedite, that was Raul and Jesus, thank you. I'll go through, I didn't hear any awkward use of language. I just suggest to the people with the English as your second language, just go review the conjugation of verbs with what tense. I'm not going to, just a review. Dan Craig, I'll just usage things that struck me, 1 for each person. Dan Craig, apparently that doesn't work after 61 years on the planet. Tom Trainer, if you ask for visions, they happen to show up. Wow, this is good stuff. Upendra, I can't divorce my first love, India. Cindy, my husband used to tell people I'm on Central Time. Now that I'm in Central Time, he says I'm on Mountain Time. David to sing? Is that how you say it? Dave Todd to sing. I love when you just said, get a spiritual name, know yourself, know who you are, and that 3ho.org struck me, I don't know why. Upendra, vegetarianism is an act of compassion towards animals. Louis, this is just funny because that's what we do. You said to Bert, Ted was also invited to the TED conference. Bert, Fairfield is the future, combining sustainability, entrepreneurship, creativity, and spirituality. Thank you. That's my report.
And we have a joke.
Pedro has a joke.
Yeah, good. A man went to the bank and he asked the teller, give me all the cash. He gave all the cash. He said, did you see me robbing the bank? He said, yes. He shot the teller. Then there were 2 customers standing there. He said, did you see me robbing the bank? He said, I didn't see, but my wife saw it.
evaluator comments. I'd like to just run through a little bit because this is how we learn to evaluate a little bit more. Bill, really like it when you give individual feedback. Don't just group everybody. In my opinion, I like to have individual feedback, and so I like that Bill did that. He particularly put out, he likes gestures. He was doing a lot of things with his arms, weaving. I draw these little things. This is my spot, talking about Cindy. Bill is very good just about using gestures to enhance his speech. He gave corrections to everybody except Dan, something that they could work on. And I like that, but that would be my one suggestion is really comb through it and see if you can give a suggestion to everybody, because that's how we grow. Jesus honored the speaker at the very beginning by mentioning his spiritual name, which I think is an important recognition. Used the manual, gave some corrections, maybe could. Oftentimes an icebreaker is something where we learn a little bit more about where you came from and how you grew in schools and things like that. So that was your perspective, and you gave that feedback. Personally, I felt like I got to know Donald a little bit. We're all going to struggle a little bit with what to call you. I can tell that already. But that was a good feedback, because we sort of still have that missing piece. But you also said you enjoyed the knowledge that he gave. And you gave a recommendation, but here's the thing I would suggest for you, Jesus, is that it's an icebreaker. He hasn't been through any other projects, and you proceeded to tell him all the things that he could do that relate to actually projects he will get to eventually, vocal variety and gestures and things like that. So I would just say for an icebreaker, you just want to pick something really simple and just let it go, because he's not supposed to know all those things yet. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so. Just pick something simple to start. All right. John. John used the manual. Really liked that John did a lot of smiling. John enjoys evaluating. You can tell. He just gets right up there and starts doing it. And he's very detailed. He gives specific examples for everything that he says. So when he's using the manual, he'll read a statement, and then he'll actually give an example from the speech that demonstrates that he was listening, and as a speaker, you feel very edified because it really connects the principle to what you actually did. Feedback, more emotional appeal, points of organization. That is true. That is something. You don't want to just introduce terms. It's a general American audience, so you have to kind of fill that out a little bit if you throw something in. Okay? I would say for a suggestion for John would just be to keep an eye on the time, the red light, and when the red light goes on, don't get caught in the headlights. Don't get flustered, just finish and stop talking. Sometimes you just feel like if I just keep talking, it'll go away. It doesn't. It just gets worse. All right, Lewis, again, using the manual, feedback. I like the feedback, be a little more direct on the purpose, the specific and the general purpose. It is something, when it's an oral situation, the listeners don't get a chance to go back and look at something like you can in a book. So, demonstrating gestures and volume, I like that. Suggestions, a little too much detail on some of the slides. That's always something that happens with visuals. But you gave a great example. You fixed it. You gave an example, talked about that Fairfield slide, and then you also said, here's how I would fix it. And that's very helpful. What you could have mentioned, and I'm coming down, would be it's the amount of setup time. Maybe that could have been a little faster with a little advanced preparation. Mr. Toastmaster.
Now we're going to present the awards for the best of the best.
Yo!
Let's start by presenting the award for the best several topics. Sandra Sharma.
Yo!
It's a great honor.
Yo.
Some drum rolls for the best speaker. regarding our meeting, we move on to our best evaluator. John Armstrong. And I'd like to present and ribbon to our icebreaker, Donald Perry. Data.
It's like Dave Letterman with Ta.
Data Singh. Data Singh.
Yo!
Yopendra and Bert.
We have recognition for speech number 8. Bert Chinoki. Regular recognition to Upendra Sherman for completing his speech number 9. Now I'd like to pass this lecture to our president, Satish Sabapati.
Yay!
What a great evening. Wonderful. Now, next week we are going to have our formal induction of new members. So anybody who joined the club 6 months ago and not formally inducted, please plan to be here. And our VP of Ed would include that in our agenda. Okay, time to close. We have no guests. Hope you all enjoy. See you all next week again.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.